up, guys? What's up? Let's see if I can get this music down. All right, should be live. Hope you guys all had a good Christmas, man. Haven't streamed since like Tuesday, I think. Didn't want to stream during Christmas and Christmas Eve. You know, I just felt like it wasn't a good time. People were out spending time with their families for the holidays. Figured nobody would be watching the streams anyway. Figured I'd take the days off from streaming. But we're back here. Friday slate, 9 games. It's an interesting one. It's a kind of a quiet news day. There's not a lot of injury news that we're waiting on outside of like a couple spots. Joel Embiid is questionable, which is kind of a big one. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll probably be live close to about 7 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know if we'll go the full hour today, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that Embiid injury news because that is one of the big ones for today. And then we're also waiting for news on Ja Morant. There's a chance that Ja Morant could be back today. We'll see, if he plays. That's some news we're waiting on. But outside of that, it's a pretty quiet news day. So over the next 40 to 50 minutes, we'll just kind of talk through the slate, answer questions. If any injury news, starting lineups come out during the stream, we'll hit on those as well, see if there's any value that we can snipe. But again, guys, hope you all had a good Christmas, man. I'm excited to be back, and let's talk through this slate. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to throw those in chat. Good to see all the guys in chat already. Brother Love, David, Bag Boy, what's up, fellas? Hope you guys all had a good Christmas. How'd you do yesterday overall? The Christmas slate honestly was not good for me. I bet pretty light. It was only a 5-game slate. I know people like to kind of bet heavy on the Christmas slates because, you got the day off, you want to sweat your bets and stuff. But, I told people, bet light because it really wasn't a good slate. I gave out 3 picks on Patreon. We went 1 for 3. And, the 2 plays that missed, literally, we took it over on Chet, which there was a block that got taken away. So we lost that on a stat correction. And then we took Jimmy Butler's over fantasy, and that lost by 0.2 or something. So we had some close calls. And then the YouTube picks that I gave out went 2 for 3. Draymond let us down. But yeah, I typically the Christmas Day slates. They're fun and all, but I don't really recommend betting heavy because it's it's a smaller slate. It's only 5 games. Today, 9-game slate. There's more value out there at least. What's your best 2-man today, Noah? Happy holidays. I'm excited. I finally got to catch a live. Best 2 pick for today, it's a tough one. If you really, honestly, if you want my best plays, you got to get in the Patreon because that's where I give out all the plays, all the best plays that are going to get the best value. These live streams, it's going to be a little bit tougher because, I'm doing these streams later in the day, an hour before the game starts. A lot of the value is pretty much gone at this point in the day. But there can be value that pops up, based off of injury news, starting lineups, and I hope that we get some of that stuff during this stream. But I'll try and give out a slip on the stream, probably like a 2-pick or a 3-pick. Probably try and do a 3-pick if we can. So just stay tuned, and we'll build out a slip during the stream. I took 2 of your picks today. Hey, let's hope they hit, Travis. Let's hope they hit. So, no, I've subscribed for over a year now. Appreciate your props all the time, man. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate everyone who supports the content, supports the live streams. Just you guys being in here, asking questions, means the world to me. So, thank you to everyone who's in the stream. Hit on Ant, 40-plus straight bet, and Bo Nix anytime touchdown. Hey, good for you, man. Yeah, I didn't get to watch that Nuggets Timberwolves game. I went to bed before the game was finished, but I saw that was a great game. I need to go back and watch the highlights because I think it went to overtime. It was a great game. I hate I missed that one. Do you like Trae Young's assist? I haven't looked at Trae Young's assist today. I'd assume his lines are starting to slowly kind of creep back up to where we would typically see them. When we took Trae's assist prop on YouTube the other day, his line was 8.5. His line's 10 now. The matchup, I think, is fine. It's actually probably a good one. Miami does play really fast. This is another game that has a really high total. The Hawks have been in some super high scoring games lately. And this is another one that expects to be really high scoring. It's got a 249.5 total. And the minutes are coming up on Trae. He's played 3 games since he's returned from injury. 20 minutes, then up to 26, and then last game 31. So his minutes have increased 5 minutes each game. Does he play? Does he go from 31 minutes to 36 minutes today? I don't know if he goes quite that high, but it's a possibility. I mean, Trae Young, when he was fully healthy, his assist lines would be like 11 and a half, 12 and a half. If you think he's back to playing like 35 minutes, then I feel like 10 assists for 35 minutes is pretty good for Trae. He probably gets 10 assists more times than not when he plays 35 minutes. I don't know if his minutes go up quite that high, but I think there's definitely upside there. I don't hate the play, honestly. I wish the line was 9.5. With the line at 10, there's obviously push potential there. Like you need Trae to get 11 assists for that pick to hit. If he gets 10, it's a push, and I really don't like playing for pushes, but I think it's okay. I don't hate the play. How many NFL picks you doing tomorrow? Probably we'll give out 3 NFL picks. Well, actually, for the Saturday games, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do a video for the Saturday games. There's two games tomorrow for NFL. Chargers, Texans, Packers, Ravens. Not sure yet if I'm going to have a video for that. But I will have a video for the Sunday NFL games. That'll probably go up Saturday. Like probably Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. Yeah, to be determined on the 2 games for tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have a video for tomorrow's games. Collier assist. I've been seeing Isaiah Collier's been racking up a ton of assists lately. His minutes have started to slowly come up. And he's typically been like a big assist guy. Like when he gets minutes, he racks up a lot of assists. Like he was kind of in the doghouse and wasn't really playing much earlier in the season, but now, 24 minutes, 31 minutes, 28, 28, 24, 26. Prizepicks doesn't have all they have is Demons and Goblins right now, which I typically don't take those because like the value on those is not good. If you can get his line at I don't know where you would be getting it. If you were going to take a Goblin, I guess you could, but the minutes are up on Isaiah Collier. And typically when the minutes are up, the assists are going to come with it because he's like a big assist guy. He's averaging over 6 assists per game this year in only 22 minutes per game. Lately, he's been getting like 28 to 30 minutes. Now, will he continue to play that much? I don't know. But I don't hate the play on Collier's assist. And I would think, Utah, it's a 9.5 point spread. I would think if Utah gets blown out, like Collier probably plays in a blowout. He typically does. So, like, the minutes should be fairly safe for him. I don't think the matchup's great. Like, Detroit's not a great matchup for assist. But he's a big assist guy, and the minutes are up. Diabate over 29.5 fantasy. I was actually looking at that play. I gave out his over PRA on YouTube last night. But his fantasy line at 29.5 I think is kind of interesting, too. He's going to play a lot. Like, they don't have Mason Plumlee or Ryan Kalkbrenner. And last game, they played Diabate almost 38 minutes with those 2 guys out. Now, last game was a really good matchup against Washington. This matchup, not as good. It's just like, trust the minutes. If Diabate plays 36 minutes again, more times than not, he probably goes over 29.5 fantasy. So, yeah, Scott, I don't hate that play at all. I think that's totally fine. You locked him in at 6.5 on better. Is that? Let's see if that's his even line. I think that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, better does have him at 6.5. Yeah, I don't hate that. He has gone over that in 5 straight games. It's like I said, really for Collier, it's just the minutes. If I knew he was going to play like 26, 28 minutes, I would like to play a lot. You never know with the Jazz. Like, the Jazz can do weird stuff. Jordan Walsh for 5 rebounds. Let's see. Let's take a look at Walsh. Walsh was on a tear, and he was playing, like, big minutes, and then the minutes have kind of come back down on him. Like, the last 3 games, Walsh has only played 18 minutes, 21 minutes, and 13 minutes, which has me a little concerned. He's typically been like a decent rebounder in his career. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game in only 21 minutes. But like if he only plays like 18 minutes like he kind of has been, I don't feel great about it. If the minutes come back up, then I think it's okay on Jordan Walsh. But that's a play I'm just like, I'm kind of iffy on. I don't really have much of a take one way or the other. If you personally think the minutes come back up for Jordan Walsh, then feel free to take that one. But the minutes have been trending down on him, which has me definitely concerned. Hey, Noah, love your videos, bro. You give the best comprehensive analysis. Keep up the awesome work, man. Thank you, my man. Thank you, Isan. Appreciate that. Always appreciate the kind words from everybody. If you had one PRA play today, Noah, who you got? One PRA play. That's really specific. Let's see. One PRA play. Like, I'm just trying to think about, like, matchups and stuff. Like, guys that are in really good spots. I think Embiid's in a really good matchup tonight. And his minutes are kind of back to full. His PRA line's at 34.5, which feels about right. But he's played, like, over 30 minutes. Now, Embiid's questionable, so, you know, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But he's played over 30 minutes in 4 straight games. You give me 30 minutes, 32 minutes from Embiid against the Bulls, a team that doesn't rebound well, doesn't protect the paint. I think it's a good Embiid spot. So, like, I kind of like Embiid over PRA if you're looking for a PRA prop. I had to come up with that on the fly, so, like, not a ton of research gone into that, but, like, if I had to pick one, I think that might be it. I will say, let's see, did they have, yeah, Cam Spencer. If Ja Morant gets ruled out, I really like Cam Spencer over PRA, but I wouldn't take that if Ja plays. Like, if Ja plays, I don't think that's great. But if Ja's out again, I mean, you can see what Cam Spencer's done lately without Ja. Also, Cedric Coward's questionable. So, like, if Cedric Coward and Ja are both out, then, yeah, Cam Spencer should smash. But that's kind of a news-dependent one. But, yeah, like, Embiid over PRA, I don't hate that. I think it's a good spot for Embiid. And he seems like he's pretty much off his minutes limit now. That's assuming he plays. He's questionable, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Jalen Tyson over PRA. Jalen Tyson, you talking about the Cavs? Oh, that's for tomorrow. I haven't even looked at tomorrow's slate. Yeah, you probably, if you're gonna ask questions, Slashy, you probably want to ask it for today's games. I haven't even looked at tomorrow's games yet. I was like, I don't even think the Cavs play today. What other research tools do you recommend using outside of StatMuse and the sports books to check game totals and lines? So you can use the NBA website, like NBA.com. They have a ton of stuff. Like, you can just go on and look at their team stats. So this is the NBA website. You can look at, like, their team advanced stats sorted by this season. You can look at offensive rating, so the best offensive teams, defensive rating, the best defensive teams, and the worst defensive teams. You can sort, you know, OKC best defensive rating in the league, Wizards worst defensive rating in the league. A lot of this stuff, most people know this. Like, everyone knows OKC's great defensively. Everyone knows the Wizards are bad. But, like, if you want to actually look at it, you can. You can look at teams with the best rebound percentage, the worst rebound percentage, teams that play at the fastest pace, teams that play at the slowest pace. So fastest paced teams right now are the Heat, the Bulls, the Jazz. Slowest paced teams, the Celtics, the Rockets, the Clippers. I mean, you have those. You can look at, like, you know, scoring, where teams give up, you know, points from 2, from 3, the field goal percentage from that range. Like, so much is on the NBA website. So that's definitely what I would recommend. You can look at player stats, team stats. They have everything. You know, potential assists, rebound chances, that all is on the NBA website. And I think there's other sites out there that offer that too, but some of them you have to pay for. The NBA website's free to use, so that's why I recommend the NBA website, because it's free. I mean, I'm sure people don't want to pay for stats. You can, but you don't have to. So hopefully that answers your question, Lou. And I appreciate the $2 super chat. Thanks, man. Great videos and always great info. Appreciate you, Lou. Thank you, my man. Thank you for the $2 super chat. And yeah, hopefully that answered your question. LaMelo Ball points plus assist. I'm kind of interested in some LaMelo Ball props tonight, I'll be honest. I think the matchup is okay against Orlando. Not having Jalen Suggs definitely makes it a better spot for LaMelo. really for LaMelo, it's just how many minutes is he going to play? Like, that's always the question. And if you look, since he's come back from injury, he's played 29, 23, 24, 25 minutes. His minutes have been down the last few games, but like one of those was a blowout. Last game against Washington, I think, was also a blowout. He got subbed out early. But like he played 29 minutes against Atlanta, his first game back from injury. So there is upside for LaMelo to play more than what he has been playing. Also, they were on a back-to-back. Like their last two games, like last game was the second night of a back-to-back, so he only played 25 minutes. I think LaMelo plays like 28, 30 minutes here. His lines are priced as if he's playing around that number, so like I don't think there's a ton of value on his props, but there's going to eventually be a day where LaMelo gets like 32, 33 minutes. And then, a lot of those days he's really going to outproduce his lines. Okay, we just got some news from Memphis. John Morant, Cedric Coward are both on track to play. So that Cam Spencer prop that I was looking at, probably not worth it. They already bumped his line down one with that news. So really the only news I think that we're waiting on now is Embiid. That's pretty much it. Everything else we've got so far. So it's a really slow news day for a 9-game slate. I figured we have more news, but yeah, not today. Donovan Clingan rebounds versus the Clippers. Look, Clingan's always been a great rebounder. Not having Zubac probably makes it a better rebounding matchup going up against Brook Lopez, but I will say Brook Lopez is, throughout his career, he's done a pretty good job keeping centers off the glass. Like, he boxes out really well. Although Brook Lopez is not a good rebounder, like he doesn't rack up a bunch of rebounds, he's really good at like just boxing out and keeping guys off the glass. But I would say Clingan rebounds prop 10.5, 11.5, whatever you're getting the line at, feels about right. But again, he's a good rebounder per minute. How many minutes will he play? Probably 28 to 30. I would say it's like a coin flip if he goes over 10.5 rebounds or not. But if it's a prop you like, yeah, feel free to take it. I don't have much of a take on that one, though. You like Khalil Ware over rebounds? His lines are really inflated because Bam is out. But man, like Khalil Ware without Bam he's really good without Bam. 13 rebounds though, like that's really high. Like that's up there with guys like Jokic and some of the best rebounders in the league. But I want to take a look let's look at his games. I know he's played a decent amount of games without Bam. Let's see. So, yeah, last 4 games without Bam. 34 minutes, 14 and 20, 28 minutes, 15 and 13, 35 minutes, 15 and 10, 31 minutes, 16 and 14. So, how many of these games? So, 3. So, he's played 6 games this season without Bam, correct? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, he's played 6 games this season without Bam. He's had 20 rebounds, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 6. Like, I feel like 13 is probably an accurate line. But, I mean, Khalil Ware is a really good per-minute rebounder, and he should play a lot here without Bam. It's a great matchup, too, against Atlanta. But, yeah, it's just, like, my gut just tells me, 13, like, taking an over on a 13 rebounds line just feels bad. But if you like to play, feel free to take it. His lines are just super inflated for Bam being out, so I have a hard time taking overs there. I'd have to look at, like, the sportsbook odds. Let's see what the market has him at. I'd assume DraftKings probably has him at like 12.5 juice to the over. Let's see. Yep, 12.5 on DraftKings, minus 130 to the over. So yeah, like at 13, it's just like, I don't know. Doesn't feel great. Norman Powell for his under points, what you think? Yeah, I see that's a popular play today on Prizepicks. I would just tell for the people that are taking Norman Powell's under, I would be a little hesitant there. Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo are both out, which is why the line on Powell is higher than what he's been performing. Also, the matchup against Atlanta is really good. It's a high total game. 26.5 does feel a little high for Norman Powell. But again, no Bam, no Hero. The offense is probably going to run through Norman Powell. But yeah, it's so funny. Like, so many people they see this and they think, oh, easy under. I wouldn't. It's definitely not that easy. It's not that easy. And it almost feels like now, because so many people are betting his under, like he's gonna go over, probably. But the line feels about right to me for Hero and Bam both being out. Don't have much of a take on that one. I would just say if you're basing that decision off of his recent games, just know, that Bam and Hero are both out, and that's why the line is higher. One more Noah, bro. Do you like Jaime Jaquez under 7.5 rebounds? Feels too high. Again, that's kind of the same thing. Like, a lot of the Heat props, if you look at their recent performances, you're going to see a lot of red, but you have to factor in that Bam and Hero are both out, and Jaime is going to be in line to play more minutes. Looks like you asked under 7.5. It looks like, his line is at 6.5 now, so if you got under 7.5, that's actually, that was pretty good value. But again, like, it's hard with these Heat guys, because, like, the matchup's great. There's no Bam, there's no Hero. But, like, when you look at their recent games, it's like, they obviously haven't been coming close to these lines, but you can't really even think about that, because it's just a totally different scenario today than what they've been in lately with those guys playing. But yeah, I think if you got him under 7.5, that was probably decent, assuming you weren't playing, you weren't laying like heavy juice on that. He was at 12.5 rebounds. I went over. Well, yeah, if you got him at 12.5 over, I think that was okay. At 13 on Khalil Ware, I'd be hesitant there, because again, with his line at 13, you need him to get 14 rebounds for the play to hit, which 14 is, man, that's just asking for a lot. Powell 6.5 RA. Let's take a look at that one. Powell's typically not like a rebounds and assist guy, but again, not having Hero, not having Bam, taking Hero out brings in the potential for assist opportunities, because he'll just have the ball in his hands more, and then taking Bam out should open up rebound opportunities. So I get why you like that play. You had gone over that in 5 straight. They did bump his line to 7, so if you got it at 6.5, that was a good play. But let's see if we can build out a slip. I've been answering questions for like 25-30 minutes, but let's see if we can find a slip to build out for today. I was hoping that we would get some news on Joel Embiid, but we're still waiting on that. Right now, Prizepicks does have props up for Andre Drummond. So if Joel Embiid gets ruled out, play these as fast as you possibly can, or even like have them ready to play. Like, have them ready in your slip, and the second Embiid gets ruled out, if he does, submit that slip. I'm surprised they even put up props for Drummond with Embiid questionable. But there was a couple fantasy scores I was looking at for today. So I already gave out a bunch on Patreon. Not going to play those here. Some of those lines have already moved a bunch. But there was a couple more that I was looking at. One of them is actually going to be 2 in the same game. And sometimes I like to do this, taking 2 props in the same game, because there is a little bit of correlation there. If you're taking overs, if the game winds up being high scoring, competitive, there's a chance that, both those overs can hit. And I'm looking at these 2 in the Suns and Pelicans game. Zion and Devin Booker. Booker over 42.5, Zion over 32.5 fantasy. So Booker, I like the matchup a lot for him. The Pelicans don't have Herb Jones. Herb Jones would be the guy that would be guarding Booker in this spot. Without Herb Jones, I don't know who they throw on him. It's probably going to be Trey Murphy, maybe Sadiq Bey. Either way, I think it's a really good spot for Devin Booker. The Pelicans defensively, they're not great this year. Let's see. Defensive rating, the Pelicans, they're 27th, so they're 4th worst defensive rating in the league. I know they give up, points and assists and fantasy points to guards, and not having Herb's going to make it an even better matchup for Booker. Booker's going to play a ton of minutes. So I like this spot a lot for Devin Booker. It's a high total game, 240, I think 241.5. It's a 5-point spread, so it should be a competitive game. So Booker over 42.5 fantasy I like. If you actually look, I think his PRA line is like almost 40. Yeah, his PRA line is 39.5. Like, I know Booker's he's not like a big steals and blocks guy, but typically you don't see only a 3-point difference between PRA and fantasy, even for a guy like Booker. I feel like this fantasy line should probably be like 44.5. I think 42.5 is a bit low. And it's a great matchup too. So I like that play. And then on the other side of the game, Zion's fantasy line. He's gone over it in 3 straight games. For Zion, it's always about the minutes. Like, how many minutes is he going to play? Since he's come back from injury, he's played 26 minutes, 21, 23, 25, 21. So he's kind of been in the mid to high 20s. They've been bringing him off the bench. I don't know if they're going to do that like just the rest of the season. Eventually, Zion's going to be back in the starting lineup. This maybe could be the spot where they move him back into the starting lineup. I don't know. But I think we're going to get at least like 25, 26 minutes from Zion in what should be a competitive game. Phoenix is a team that does give up points in the paint, where Zion does a lot of his scoring. I think the matchup's pretty good for Zion. Again, fast-paced, high total game. So 25, 26 minutes from Zion. I feel pretty good about him going over 32.5 fantasy. And you can actually, let's take a look at this year. Let's look at games with at least 25 minutes. I'd assume games with at least 25 minutes, he's been pretty good at going over this fantasy line. So 38.3. Then he had 2 stinkers, but then 38.8. He had 31.7, 36, 40, 36. Now, some of these games, he was getting like into the 30s in minutes. I don't know if he'll be into the 30s, but even if you look at like minutes, games with 25 to 30 minutes, he's over this line in what? 1, 2, 3 out of 6. 2 of the games he went under were against Denver, which I don't think is like a great matchup for him. And then he went under against Chicago. But the Suns should be a good matchup for Zion. And there's correlation with these 2 plays. Like, if this game does wind up being high scoring and competitive, I think there's a very good chance both these guys go over these fantasy lines. So I like these 2 plays, and I was going to try and find a third because I like to do 3 picks because 3 picks now that they pay out 6x on Prizepicks are typically pretty good. But let's see. We did get some injury news while I was talking. Or we did get some starting lineups. Heat will start Mitchell, Powell, Larson, Wiggins, Ware, so that's as expected. Magic will start Jones, Bane, Black, Banchero, Carter Jr., as expected. Wizards will start George, McCollum, Coulibaly, Middleton, Sarr, as expected. Hornets will start Ball, Knuppel, Miller, Bridges, Bate. And then Colin Murray, Boyles got ruled out. I don't think Colin Murray, Boyles getting ruled out matters that much at all. So yeah, I like these 2 plays. I was hoping we'd get some Embiid news. And then if Embiid got ruled out, we could throw in Andre Drummond props into this. But, like, I don't know if we're going to get that news. Pacers will start Nembhard, Quentin Jackson, Mathurin, Siakam, and Huff. So that's as expected. We might just have to do a 2-pick, though. Because I'm struggling to find another prop that I really like. Like, the LaMelo props I don't hate. His 35.5 fantasy line, I don't hate that. If he plays like 28 to 30 minutes, I feel like more times than not, he'll go over 35.5 fantasy. The Diabate one, I don't mind either. But since I already took his over PRA, I don't like taking players multiple times. Let's see. I mean, Collier at 22.5 fantasy, I don't really mind that either. It's just like the minutes for Collier are always the question. If I knew Collier was going to play like 25 minutes, I'd take that. Take that over. But like, I'm not confident he plays 25 minutes. The Jazz they can always do some weird shit. Maybe we'll throw in LaMelo. Like, I mean, LaMelo's got a 31 PRA line. He's a guy that, he does turn it over, but he can get steals and blocks as well. I feel like if he comes close to or goes over 31 PRA, he probably goes over fantasy too. Let's take a look at LaMelo this year. I bet if you look at games with like 26 minutes, he's probably gone over this line a lot. So let's look at games with 27 minutes or more. 23, but then 39, 32, 38, 41, 40, 49, 42. So with 27 to 30 minutes this year, LaMelo's over this line in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8 games with 27 to 30 minutes. He's over 35.5 fantasy. He crushed against Orlando earlier this year, 17, 7, and 13, but he also played 36 minutes in that game. I kind of like that, honestly. I think that might be our third pick. I'm going to roll with it. The minutes were down the last 2 games, but I think that was just kind of back-to-back related. Also, they got blown out against Cleveland. He got subbed out early. Or I can't remember if they blew out Cleveland or Cleveland blew them out, but I know LaMelo got subbed out early in that game. And then second night of a back-to-back, didn't expect him to play a lot, so I think he gets back to like 27 to 28 minutes here. And you saw 6 out of 8 games this year with 27 to 30 minutes. He's over 35.5 fantasy. So let's roll with this. This will be our official stream slip for today. 3-pick power to win 6x. Gonna put my $5 on it. Let's see if we can hit this one. Our last stream slip we barely missed. We had the SJ Taco, which hit. We had Najee Marshall fantasy, which hit. And then we took Jeremiah Fears fantasy after Jordan Poole got ruled out, and that play lost by like 1 point. So that was frustrating. But I like these plays. I really do. I'm hoping if the Suns Pelicans game's a blowout, we're gonna be screwed. But it's got a 5-point spread. It's got a high total. We get a competitive game there. Give me full minutes from Devin Booker. Give me 26 to 28 minutes from Zion. Give me 27, 28 minutes from LaMelo. I think that's all we need. All right, we got some more starting lineups. Hawks will start Young, Daniels, Riche, Johnson, and Okongwu. That's expected. Okay. We'll probably answer some more questions, guys, for like the next 10 minutes or so. Again, I was hoping we would get some Joel Embiid news while I was on stream, but I don't know if we will. Philadelphia, when they report injuries, they wait till the last minute. So we might not get news on Embiid till 15 minutes before the game starts. But I will say, if you're hunting value, if you're trying to snipe some plays, be ready to take Andre Drummond overs if Embiid gets ruled out, if you can get him quick enough. They will get pulled off very fast. They'll probably get pulled off in 10 seconds. But if you have them ready to play, you're going to have some good value there. Maxi Fantasy, along with Jalen Johnson over points, then Josh Giddey over 8 assists. I mean, Maxi, for me, it's a good matchup against Chicago. His lines are a little inflated, though, because Embiid's questionable. And if Embiid winds up playing, I feel like Maxi's lines might come down a little bit. So that's kind of a tricky one. But if you think Embiid isn't going to play, then yeah, you could lean into that, take overs on Maxi. I feel like if Embiid's playing, his line should probably be 45.5. And then if Embiid gets ruled out, his line will probably bump up to 49.5. So they kind of have him priced in the middle. So that's a tough one for me. Can you give me the best 3-man slip? I want to go heavy, man. Rent is due in a couple of days. Well, I'll say, man, please don't bet your rent money. But yeah, we did post a 3-pick slip if you want to tail. We took LaMelo over fantasy, and then we did a mini correlated stack of Booker and Zion over fantasy. That's a 3-pick slip I like for today. But I would only play 1 unit or maybe half a unit. Please don't bet your rent money. I hope you're trolling, but if you're actually betting your rent money, please just stop. Do you like Khalil Ware today? No Bam Adebayo. I think it's a really good spot for Khalil Ware, and I think he's going to play a lot of minutes, but his lines are priced for that. You can just look at where his lines are set. They have him set super, super high. So it's hard for me to just say, oh yeah, I'd be running to bet overs on Khalil Ware, which I just, if his lines were a little bit lower, maybe, but where they're priced at, it's tough. But if you told me that Khalil Ware had like 20 points and 15 rebounds tonight, I wouldn't be surprised at all because I think it is a good spot. Jaylen Brown under points. That's a tough one, man. Jaylen Brown's been cooking. Like I think he's gone over his points prop in like 5 straight games. Or I actually think he's gone over it in like more than that. It's just one of those plays like it's right on the, like look at how many games he's had exactly 30 points, 30, 30, 30. Like it's literally a coin flip, I feel like. I will say the matchup is probably a pretty good one for Jaylen Brown. But star players points props are some of the toughest markets because like the lines are just so efficient. It's almost like SGA. It's like a coin flip if SGA gets 30 points or not. So I don't have much of a take there. A lot of people are betting his over. If you want to fade the public, you can take the under, but I feel like the line's priced correctly. Looks like it just bumped from 29.5 to 30.5. So if you want to take the under, I guess now's your chance. Drummond line dropped from 15.5. I did see that. Yeah, it was at 16.5. They dropped it. It dropped again. So yeah, the fact that they're dropping Andre Drummond's lines probably means Embiid's playing. But I would still keep an eye on it. You never know. You never know with Joel Embiid. He's been announced probable and still gets ruled out. The fact that I think they had like a lot of guys questionable, like Edgecombe, all these guys were questionable too, and they all are available to play. So the fact that they didn't announce Embiid available to play with those guys makes me just a little hesitant. Like he might actually be questionable, like truly questionable. Let the print money ride, baby. Look, man, I hope you guys, I know it's kind of a joke, but I really hope you guys actually are betting what you can afford to lose. Like, if you're betting money that you can't afford to lose, like, please just stop. Like, please quit gambling. Like, you should be betting, almost, the best way to look at it, like, every dollar you put in, just expect that you're going to lose it. And if you're okay with that, then go ahead. But, like, I see people, man, they put in, more money they can afford to lose, and then they're like crashing out because they lost. It's like, well, you did it to yourself. You put that money in play. So just expect to lose every dollar you put in. If Embiid's ruled out, which Drummond prop do you like the best? All of them. I mean, they're all priced as if Embiid's playing. So like, points is great, rebounds is great, PR is great. Okay, the line was 14.5. Now it's back up to 16.5. This is weird. This is really weird. You could also look at taking like alt overs. So you could take Drummond like 19.5 PR, demon line. Like, if Embiid gets ruled out, Drummond's PR line is probably going to bump up to like 19.5 or 20.5. His normal line. So you could take his like demon line. Or even 24.5. I mean, it is a really good matchup against Chicago. So, like, Embiid or Drummond could definitely go over 24.5 PR if Embiid's out. So you really just take overs on everything. It doesn't matter if you're getting the lines in before they adjust them. Now, obviously, if Embiid gets ruled out, they pull the lines, they readjust them. Don't just start slamming overs because they've already adjusted. But with these lines where they are right now, over on everything. I usually go with like PR or PRA. Like that's usually the safest bet. For me at least, because, maybe Drummond has like only 9 rebounds, but maybe he gets like 12 points or something, Suns Sixers money line. I don't hate that play. I don't hate that. What would the payout on that be? I would assume it's like plus 120 or something. That should be plus money. Let's take a look. Jordan Poole available to play. That was expected. He was probable. I have been dabbling into, sports betting a little bit just because the prediction markets are available now, like on Underdog, and Prizepicks has them too. I will say that like the prices you're paying on those are not as good, but yeah, I've been dabbling a little bit into the sports betting. Sports betting is just a tougher market to beat than player props. There's always going to be a bigger edge with player props. But let's see, a little Suns Sixers parlay plus 180. I don't hate that. The Sixers should beat the Bulls. Will they? I don't know, but they should beat the Bulls, and the Suns should beat the Pelicans. The Pelicans have been playing well, though. They were on a winning streak, but I think they lost their last game. Raptors will start quickly. Abaji, Ingram, Barnes, and Mamu Kalashvili, so that's as expected. Yeah, Scotty Barnes was questionable today, but he's playing. You like Kawhi over 10.5 RA? Yeah, see, that's a popular pick on Prizepicks. I mean, Kawhi's minutes are, he's full. Like, he's no longer limited anymore. Kawhi's historically been like a pretty good rebounder in his career. He's averaging 6.2 rebounds per game this year. He's been rebounding more lately. Rebounds can always be really tough. Like, unless it's like a center, it's always tough to project rebounds for wings and guards because they can just be fluky. Lately, Kawhi's been rebounding well. I don't know if that continues. Like, he's at like 9 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 8 rebounds his last 4 games, or 4 of his last 5. He's also had 4 assists, 6 assists, 3 assists, 5 assists. I feel like on average, Kawhi projects for like 9.5 RA. I think his lines are a little inflated today because he's been outproducing his median. Does this continue though? I don't know. I really don't have much of a take on that one, I'll be honest. Like, you could actually look, let's see. You could look at like Kawhi's rebound chances and his potential assist and see, like, has he been getting more assist opportunities lately? Or is it just still the same and he's just, run hot on racking up assists? Let's see. So this year, Kawhi's averaging 6.2 potential assists per game. If we look at his last 5 games, he's at 7.2. So he's averaging 1 more potential assist per game. So a little bit more. And then let's look at his rebound chances. Sort by team, go to the Clippers. So rebound chances per game, Kawhi is at 10.3. Last 5 games, he's at 14.2. So his rebound chances have definitely spiked up. That's probably with Zubac out. Let's look at last game. So last game was without Zubac. Kawhi led the team in rebound chances last game with Zubac out. So that definitely helps him, I would say. Again, like, Brook Lopez is just not an aggressive rebounder. He boxes out and he lets his teammates get boards. That's why Giannis would have so many rebounds, because Brook Lopez would just literally box out and just let Giannis crash the glass. So maybe Kawhi does continue to rack up the rebounds and assists. But again, like, I just don't have much of a take on that one. It's not gambling if you win. That is true, but you're not going to win every day, sadly. You're not going to win every day. You can find plays that are really good values. You can get really good closing line value, and you can still lose. Like, we could take, let's say Joel Embiid gets ruled out, and we take Andre Drummond over 14.5 PR, and we get that in before they adjust the line. We got incredible value there. But that play could still lose. Like, Drummond could get in foul trouble, he'd get injured. Like, there's ways it could still lose. So nothing's a guarantee. But when you're putting yourself in, spots to win money, you'll make money in the long run. But there's never a day where you should be like, oh, I feel really good about today, I'm going to bet my rent money. Or I think, today's the day I'm going to win, I'm due, so I'm going to bet all my money. Like, you never want to bet like that. Now, if you're able to bet these props before they adjust the lines, like if Embiid gets ruled out, you can get Drummond overs before they adjust the lines. That's a scenario where it makes sense to bet more, because that's a scenario where you have a bigger edge. You project to win more in the long run betting that type of prop. But those props, they don't come around every day. So, but it does make sense to bet more in those type of scenarios. Anytime there's like a late scratch, lineup change, and you can get a prop, on the guy who benefits, or maybe a starter gets benched and you can take his under before they adjust the lines. Like, that's a scenario where it makes sense to bet more. But other than that, you should, stick to your unit sizes, whatever your unit size is. You think Embiid is out tonight? We'll see. We'll see. If I had to guess, we're probably going to get news on Embiid in like 10 minutes. They typically announce, like whenever they announce the starting lineup, that's when they'll probably announce if Embiid's playing or not, which should come in like 10 minutes. Maybe I'll stay on stream for 10 more minutes and see if we get that news. But I'd assume Embiid's playing. The fact that we still don't know, typically when it's this late and we don't know if he's playing, that typically means he's going to play. I feel like if he was out, they would have announced it already. But who knows? I was thinking the alt on Drummond as well. Thanks and good luck, everyone. Yeah, alts are definitely good. Alts are definitely good if you can get them before they take them off the board, because you're basically getting what the book views as the even line. You're getting it with like an insanely good payout. Wizards are winning tonight. Underdog game. Maybe. Betting on the Wizards is never something I would feel good about. Noah, over 2.5 slips hit. I hope I got the over there. And I hope the over comes through. Let's see, I've submitted 4 slips today. YouTube slip, stream slip, and then my 2 Patreon slips. Hopefully all 4 of them hit. Give me the over. You don't like Derek Queen instead of Zion? Queen's lines are priced a little bit higher. Or actually, they're actually the exact same as Zion. The issue with Derek Queen, I feel like his minutes have been a little bit volatile. Like he was at 25, then he was at 34, then he was at 27, then he was at 35, then he was at 25. Like he's kind of been all over the place with his minutes. But I think it is a good spot for Derek Queen as well. And he has shown, when he gets minutes, he can be productive. I feel a little bit better about Zion. For one, Zion's just historically he's been a better per minute producer than Queen. Like if you look at like fantasy points per minute, Zion's at like 1.2 something for his career, whereas I think Queen's at like just over 1. So if you give me 32 minutes from Queen or 27 minutes from Zion, I would take Zion there, if they're the exact same projection. Also, I think there's a chance that Zion could be back in the starting lineup tonight. He's been coming off the bench for like 6 games in a row. Eventually, though, at least I think, he's eventually going to move into the starting lineup. That could be tonight. So, but I don't hate the Queen prop. 32.5 fantasy, I think that's solid. The volatility in his minutes is a little concerning. But like the game he played 25 minutes against Cleveland, that was a blowout, it looks like. He had 4 fouls in 27 minutes against Indy, so maybe he got benched by foul trouble there. He had 3 fouls in 25 minutes against Chicago. But Queen has been really good per minute this year. He's been super productive. He's a do-it-all guy. Like he scores, he gets rebounds, he gets assists. He's kind of like Zion. So I don't hate that. If you don't want to take Zion, you could replace him with Queen if you wanted to go that route. Con over 16.5 points. Yeah, I saw that's a popular play today as well. The one thing I'll say for Con, so a lot of his games lately have probably been without, maybe LaMelo was out or maybe Brandon Miller was out. We haven't seen Con play a ton with Miller, with Miles Bridges, with LaMelo. Also, the matchup against Orlando is a really bad one for Con. Con, he's like an off-ball scorer. He gets a lot of his scoring from like catch and shoot stuff. And I want to say the Magic are like really good this year, limiting catch and shoot points. So like I don't think it's a great spot for Con to be able to score. He's been scoring a ton lately though, but this is definitely a bad matchup for him. I think it's a better spot for LaMelo and Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller. But yeah, a lot of people are trusting Con tonight because of what he's been doing lately. But I will say, again, some of these games I'm pretty sure were either LaMelo was out or somebody was out. The Hornets haven't played much this year with all their main starters healthy. Like even right now, they don't have Kalkbrenner, so they still have a starter out right now. You do like both? I'm talking about Queen and Zion? Okay. I probably wouldn't play them together. I feel like there's a little bit of negative correlation there. Just because, if Zion has a really good game, that could maybe take away from Queen and vice versa. There's also a chance that Zion could maybe take minutes from Queen. Like maybe if Queen's struggling, maybe that means more minutes for Zion. But, you know, the last few games, I mean, Zion's gone over his fantasy last 3 games, and Queen's also gone over his fantasy, so they probably still could both go over together, but that's typically a situation I would try and not play them together in the same slip. At least those 2 guys specifically. Noah, tips on when to power and when to flex. I love Green Goblins. It helps me build my bankroll. So I've said this before. I would personally stay away from the demons and goblins. I know people like them because they have quote unquote a higher hit rate, but you're also paying the price for that. You're going to get a smaller payout than what you would normally get. Also, you could actually you could go on a sports book. Like let's pull up DraftKings for example, so I can just show people. Because all I'm trying to do at the end of the day is just inform you guys. You know, I'm not going to hit every single bet I give out, but I'm just trying, you know, I want to make sure when you guys watch my content, you're just more informed. You know, how things go, how odds are set, how lines are set. A lot of people just, you know, like to bet based off what's been happening lately, the trends, the last 5 games, but you really can't look at that. So let's just say, for example, let's say you want to take Jaylen Brown, 25 points, Goblin, and Kawhi Leonard. Let's see. Well, actually, let's find a Goblin. Let's find a popular play. What can do Jaylen Brown? Let's see. Con points. So Jaylen Brown, 25 points, Con 15 points. The payout on that would be 1.7x. So if you bet $10, you would win $17 for a $7 profit. Let's go on DraftKings and let's put in the exact same slip. So Jaylen Brown, 25 points, and Con Knuppel, 15 points. Now the odds will obviously be different, but on DraftKings this pays out plus 100, so it pays out $20.16. So you're betting this at, you know, what? Minus, what's the math on that? I'm not a big sports betting guy. Like I don't know odds very well, but that's like what, minus 130 or something. And you're getting it. DraftKings has it for plus 100. So you're basically betting you're taking this at a worse price than what you should be getting. It's almost like if a Big Mac costs $8 at the McDonald's across the street, you're eating at a McDonald's that charges $10 for a Big Mac. When the McDonald's across the street, you can get it for $8. You know? That's basically what you're doing. You're taking a worse price. That's why I don't recommend playing Demons and Goblins on Prizepicks, because the prices are just not that good. And I'm sure if you went on FanDuel and you did the same slip, it would probably pay out plus 100. But Prizepicks is charging, you know, minus 120, minus 130, whatever their actual price is. And then when it comes to power and flex, it's really like the slip type matters. For 3 picks, I like to do power. For 5 picks, 6 picks, I like to do flex. But if you're doing like correlation, then you typically want to do power, because like in a correlated slip, you know, you're basically betting on everything to hit or nothing to hit at all. So in that scenario, you just want to do power. Like if you're taking, you know, 6 overs in one game, hoping that the game is really high scoring and competitive, you know, you would just power that. Because if the game winds up being high scoring and competitive like you expect, then all those 6 plays could hit. If the game's a blowout, there's a very good chance like only 2 of those hit. Doing a flex play, it doesn't pay out anything when 2 hit or 3 hit. So it all depends on the type of slip you're playing. Typically, I would do power for 4 picks, 3 picks, 2 picks, and then 5 and 6 picks, I would do flex. Okay, we did just get word that not Andre Drummond, but Joel Embiid is available to play. So there we go. So that's pretty much it on injury news today. I think that's really everything. I don't think there's anything else that we're waiting on. We got news on Coward and Morant, Embiid. Ron Holland is questionable, but like I don't think that really matters at all. Yeah, I've been live for about an hour, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here. appreciate you guys watching, man. We went live for a full hour. You guys asked a lot of questions. Thank you to everyone who was in chat asking questions. Thank you for my man Lou with the $2 super chat. Always appreciate those as well. Obviously not necessary, but anytime people do donate, I like to shout them out because I do really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, hope you all have a good weekend. I won't be live any this weekend, I don't think. But I will try and go live next week, at the start of next week at least. We have New Year's next week, or New Year's Eve, which is I think on Wednesday is New Year's Eve, Thursday is New Year's Day. So like I probably won't be live those days, but maybe like Monday and Tuesday I'll go live. So be on the lookout for some streams early next week. And obviously I'll have videos over the weekend for NBA and for NFL. Be on the lookout for those too. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate your support. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Peace out.